First, you're going to need a cup of room temperature butter. A cup of butter is just 2 sticks. You can do this by hand or you can use a stand mixer. I am going to be using my stand KitchenAid, and then I use the paddle attachment. And you're just gonna whip that up until it's kind of fluffy. So once you have your butter all fluffed up, I like to just scrape it down off the edges of the paddle and in the bowl, just so when you go to mix, it all mixes together. Next is your sugar. So we're going to need 1.5 cups of sugar. One thing about these measuring cups I love is that they come with a leveler. So you can just level it right off. And when you're baking, you don't want to, like, especially with flour, you don't want to fill it and mush it all down. You just want to get it in your cup, level it off, pour it in. Whip it all up. Then we are going to add in 1 egg. And mix well. Before we add in the rest, I like to, again, just scrape down the paddle and the bowl. Now we are going to add our flour, which is 2 1/4 cups. So again, with flour, you don't want to jam it in there. You just want to fill it up, level it off. Otherwise, you will have too much flour, and that's going to give you tough cookies. They're not going to be soft and fluffy. Next, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. My favorite ingredient, which is so odd for sugar cookies, but is kosher salt. It's just 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, but it just I don't know, it takes the cookies up a notch, just gives them a nice little salty kick every now and then. It sounds weird, but if you like sweet and salty, it's perfect. And then a teaspoon of vanilla. And that's it, you guys. Now we're just gonna mix it up and have our dough all ready to go. And that's it. And just like with any baking, you don't want to overmix because otherwise it'll make it hard. Good to go. I love it just like this, but it's even better cooked with sprinkles on it. All right, so we got the dough. It's called dough. So now we've got the cookie dough all ready. Went ahead and got the air fryer all set up. You do get one of the Pampered Chef air fryers. So on the back is an air vent because the air fryers cook with air. What? It's recommended that you have it at least 6 inches away from the wall. I just wanted to throw that out there, and not to put anything on top because you have another vent on top. I'm gonna give it a try here on the one of the trays, and I put a piece of parchment paper on it. Now, they do sell air fryer parchment paper, but I have not purchased any. So if you don't own any, you can take just a piece of parchment paper. I laid it out, kind of traced the size of the tray, and then I folded it up and made almost like a really bad paper snowflake, just so the air will go through it. You don't just want to put the cookies on this, so you want this. We're just gonna take the small, I use the small Pampered Chef cookie scoop, put it in my hands, kind of give it a roll to soften it out, and then in my house, rainbow sprinkles is what is preferred. I know some areas call them jimmies, depending on where you're from. Just get it covered. Set it on your tray and give it a little squish. Don't squish it flat, just a little, just kind of flatten it out a little bit. Helps it cook a little more evenly. And so we're just gonna go ahead and put 4 of them on this tray. If I were putting them in the oven, the recipe calls between 8 to 10 minutes. I usually do 9. The air fryer does have a bake setting. I am going to put these in plug it in, because you're not supposed to leave it plugged in when you're not using it. And I'm gonna select bake, and I'm gonna start lower than 9 minutes. I'm actually gonna go with 6, and then we'll check on them and see how they're doing. Right there. Oh, not supposed to eat raw eggs. But it's so good raw. Where's my cup? I don't even know how you do that. Well, our 6 minutes is up, so I'm gonna go ahead and just take a quick peek and see how they're doing. Not yet, but I am gonna straighten out our paper a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and set it for bake again and just add 2 minutes. All right, those 2 minutes are up. They look good to me. So I have found with this sugar cookie recipe, you don't want to overcook them. They will keep cooking after you pull them out. So hot. But yeah, they're slightly browned on the edges, and that's how I like them. All right, guys, so let me know what kind of cookies you're gonna make in your air fryer. I'd love to try out some new recipes. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.